What does the Ukrainian flag sound like? Well, Matthew, it sounds like any other flag. Obviously, that's not the point of this video. Some of you may have heard of the term synesthesia, right? It's a condition where somebody who has it, they experience something in one sense that every time they have that specific trigger in one sense, it triggers another thing in another sense. It's a consistent thing every single time. Like maybe they see a specific shape, and then every time they do see that shape, they taste something. And it's the same thing every time. Yeah, it's pretty crazy to imagine. I'm no expert on the subject of synesthesia, and if anyone is, feel free to let me know things in the comments. I'd be interested. Or maybe you've had experience of your own. But if I were to guess, I would guess that it's not as simple as you have synesthesia or you don't, but it exists on a spectrum that you have it, different people have it to different extents if they have it. And by the way, that's quite similar to my thoughts on perfect pitch. If you're curious about that, I can make a video about that as well. But I say this because I don't experience this synesthesia concept in a very, very extreme, overwhelming way. But at the same time, as long as I can remember, the piano wasn't black and white. How else can I say it? Well, to be fair, C has always been white to me. But F is a light pink. And G, okay, it's kind of a dark blue, but there's like some black in it. I was like, yeah, these are very specific colors, by the way. One day I actually really want to create a color palette where I actually come up with the exact colors with every single note. Oh, and it changes for octaves, by the way, too. Like, the D is also a blue, but it's darker than G, but it doesn't have the same black added to it that the G does. But it gets lighter as it goes up, it gets darker as it goes down. You know, in general. Yeah, like E is light green. Well, anyways, it's when I listen to music, it's not just, there's colors with it, you know? You know, Ed Sheeran's Shape of You? No, I'm just kidding. That exists on this dark blue palette because D is this dark blue, but A is this red. What type of a red is it? It's not as dark as A flat. It's a light, but it's not a light red either. And pink it's not like a hot pink, but it's definitely darker than the pink that F natural is. But at the same time, they're not as dominant. You know, they're just chordally, they're just overtones in the harmonic series of D natural. That's why they're there in a major chord, but they're still there, so it affects the color. And the chord changes, all these notes that are changing, it changes. And different pieces, take 5. So, just the chord, just an E flat minor 7 chord, right? So E flat is this, it's a certain shade of dark green for me. G flat it's kind of similar to F sharp actually. Yes, they are different with enharmonic pitches. G flat it's like kind of purplish. F sharp is the kind of darker pink, but they're very, very specific shades. But then you add B flat, which is not, it's like a darker yellow, but it's a little bit of orange added too. And there's D flat with C sharp is this grayish thing. It's a dark gray. But D flat it's pretty similar to that, but there's purple overtones in it, you know? So you can just think of what that creates when you put this chord, and then you have a whole piece. So, you know, I even have this piece that, it's an unreleased piece that was inspired by last semester. I was at a bus stop, waiting as you do at a bus stop. And it was not night, and it was dark, and it was rainy, and it was at the street. It was a classic Finnish thing because I saw the dark forest in front of me, and so you know that the setting of the piece was that obviously, but I mean, it's this dark E flat minor thing. It starts out like that, and a lot of the pieces like that because yeah. So you could notice these colors in my own pieces too. Okay, before I move on to the Ukrainian flag, one more thing that I want to say. If ever you're in Helsinki and you take one of the older trams, like they're a bit taller, they're a bit shaped whatever, the older models, every time they start to drive or the brake goes on, just not every time like a mechanical thing happens, I think it always does this glissando, like a slide, up to this. It's around A flat usually, well always, but it's this obnoxious stuff. It just does that the whole time. That's got. And when I go on my 20-minute commute to the Sibelius Academy, I don't want to sit in this thing where I just see red, this dark, annoying red with its overtones, because A flat is this dark red, as I've said, but it's also this weird, disgusting thing, and I have to deal with that every time I see the tram, and it's the old one. I go, oh no, I don't want to deal with that. But anyways, what does the Ukrainian flag sound like? Well, first of all, I just want to clarify. This is what it sounds like to me. Other people may have other color associations with certain pitches. I met people that do, and it's funny debates of, you know, F is definitely light pink. No, it's a green. What are you talking about? It's kind of like, well, when people debate, I don't know. This is a thing in when you're in like middle school and they're talking about the covers of your journals for different subjects. Math is totally a green color, and they're like, no, it's blue. Maybe that's a type of synesthesia too. Yeah. So this is what I'm gonna play for what the Ukrainian flag sounds like is what it sounds like to me. And this took me a while to figure it out actually, because you have the two different shades of the flag, because the Ukrainian flag is this blue and yellow color, and there are these specific shades of blue and yellow. And I sat down, I came up with the colors individually, which I wasn't going to show. Actually, I'll do that. This is what the dark blue was. It was something like this. Oh, it was more. No, it was like, yeah, that's what it was. But that yellow color, it was something like this. Because to achieve that, I have this light yellow, but it's a bit darker as it goes down. But then to get a little bit of the orangish, I have this at the top. And this is just quietly as an overtone of the beat to help bring out that yellow. Even though D sharp is like... See, it's so complicated because there's specific shades, but they're also not specific shades. They're these combination of different shades. D sharp is like this kind of light blue, but there's also dark blue. There's also a little bit of green for some reason. So anyways, yeah. That's the yellow. That's the blue in general. But putting them together was tricky because I didn't want to just play them at the same time. It sounded a bit odd at the same time, and also just when they were at the same time, they messed with each other. All of a sudden, those colors weren't the same colors. It was this new thing. So I had to experiment with different registers of the piano to create the same colors because that whole trick. And yeah, it took me a while. What can I say? Want to hear what the Ukrainian flag sounds like? Oh, just to be clear, I don't know if I said this already. The idea was to create one chord, one block of notes to represent it. Not like some sort of a piece or something, but just one chord to represent it, as I did for those individual colors. Yeah, so this is what I think the Ukrainian flag sounds like. Do I remember? Yes, I do remember. Did I play this? I meant to play this. Yeah. It's there's some nostalgia in that sound, right? I hear also empathy. Yeah, there's definitely empathy in there. And that's pretty applicable right now, actually. I don't even want to try to imagine myself going through what those innocent Ukrainians are going through right now. My heart goes out to all of you.